There they go into the back. The blue line on. We have a race, and Satnova's beaten Pure Steel out by a length and a half.
Welcome to Talking Trots, hosted by Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
The sensational Sydney sider, Seals to Sam, comes off the back straight. He's a bucket load of alliteration, this fellow.
Scott Bomber Hill will join the boys to look at the Friday night meeting at Gloucester Park.
Here comes Quinny. I'm the mighty Queen is four deep and letting go.
Sit back and enjoy Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley.
I'm the mighty Queen is just in front. Dasher VC can do no more. And the West Australian champion has done it again.
Hello, good evening and welcome to another big edition of Talking Trots. It's good to be back after a week off due to work commitments. No Michael Radley this week. He's off to the vets, not feeling 100%, so he can't be with us. But shortly we'll be joined by one of WA's leading reinsmen and trainers, and Stuart McDonald, to talk about his main chances at Gloucester Park on Friday night, featuring the Tab Touch Group 1 WA Oaks, where Stewie has a fancied runner in Madam Publisher, drawn very well in Barrier 10. Plus we'll also be joined by Scott Bomberhill to preview the meeting at Gloucester Park, and Ollie Cownie will join us to look at the country meetings this weekend. But tonight, happy as always to be joined by one of WA's best form analysts in Glen Mortimer, who joins me on the show to take a look at the big card ahead of Friday night. Good evening, Glenn.
And good evening, Morts, and great to be here. And sad to hear about Michael. Hopefully a speedy recovery from him or for him. Big night, WA Oaks night. It's always a tremendous night on WA calendar. And we've got the short price favourite Waterloo, but it may not be as easy as it looks. It's a tricky little draw in terms of the way it's set up, but certainly she's the class conveyance. It looks very hard to beat.
2,536 metres for the 3-year-olds can sort them out?
Well, history will tell you that. With the Oaks, there's been a lot of upsets over the years. She seems to be more of a colt than a filly in terms of her staying ability, and hence they're heading for the Derby if it all works out well. But, yeah, I wouldn't have thought it holds any fears, because she has done a lot of work over the shorter distances, the 2,100 metre races, and done a heap of work, fast mile rates, which sort of indicates she'll probably handle the 2,500 pretty well, actually.
Tonight's guest has got Madam Publisher, who has drawn 10, so looks to get a nice easy run on the rails, and we do know over the 25.36 there's probably no better place at GP.
Yeah, and was untested last run, could not get a run. Stewie went through the middle, hoping it'd open up. Waterloo needed to drop off a touch and just push out, but that didn't happen, and went to the line hard held. The draw is a terrific draw here. Depending on what happens early with Madison Brown elects to take the trail or not, indicating this morning Mike Reid on the radio with Tim and Diggers that Mike Reid indicated that in full instructions or clear instructions for Shannon is to attack for the lead. Understanding Relatively Armour is drawn underneath an Exceptional Armour of stablemates. But he didn't think that they'd want to get overly involved, particularly Relatively Armour, given the fact that that burn also involves Exceptional Armour, and the reference to the fact that Exceptional Armour can fire up a bit. That might be in the minds of Shannon and Mike Reid that perhaps under duress Madison might take the set, given the fact it's 2,500 and it could fire up. That'll be interesting in itself. I'm sure Colin Brown will want to lead, but things change out there. With all that happening anyway, Stewie can be smoking the cherry briar, even if he's three back the fence and looking for that late run.
Not too many better drivers than Shannon Savelko, so should be a interesting start to the WA Oaks. Great night at GP last Friday night, as always, featuring the Group 1 Channel 7 Golden Slipper. Elter Tribute did it hard in the first out there punching the breeze, but held on to beat Tuvalu. What a big run.
Yeah, he's come out of the blue, Elter Tribute, by a mare that they bought. Harriet Price Jr. was involved there in buying that horse. High price is half, I think, maybe full, I'm not sure. And they had a bit of trouble getting Elter Tribute going. But once the penny dropped, Elter Tribute's gone from strength to strength. I think he's surprised everybody around the stable. And it's just now he becomes a horse that you'd have to say is a major chance in the Derby. And like he's done it the hard way, faced the breeze the last 2 starts and won, held out one of the Derby aspirates and 2 a lose. So, look, that's tremendous form leading in. He's high up in the rankings, a horse with upside, lightly raced, and the tip is he can sprint as well as stay. So we haven't seen that side of him yet, but there's some confidence there that he can be flexible enough to be able to be driven in a different manner.
Yeah, certainly looks a very nice type. And in the second, Soho Firestone got an easy lead for Mitchell Miller and was untroubled to win easily.
Yeah, look, that speed map was reliant on whether he got the front from Frisky Sticks. Most people, including myself, had Frisky Sticks the likely leader, but got burnt off at the start by Firestone, and dominated the race and won very easily. A big improved run by Vegas Strip, Morts.
It was good, very good run.
Circling the field, yeah, look, that's what we've been looking for with Vegas Strip. Denny referred to the fact that she thought that Vegas Strip would improve, and it duly did so. Circled the field and ran the good race, although Firestone won it easily. It did have the comfortable trip in front.
In the third, Rock Me Over sustained a long run from the bell. At the turn, you didn't think it was going to run down the leader, but well driven out by Aidan De Campo. Got absolutely everything out of this horse.
Yeah, there's one thing for sure. Rock Me Over's the sort of horse that'll just keep trying for you. Dug deep, Aidan drove it right out. As you say, Stormy Skies looked to have it all parcelled up. The other runner on that race, Ideal Tomato, went forward at the start, did a lot of work, then ducked into the fence, 3 back, and then run home strongly. Another win in store for him shortly with the right draw. But Rock Me Over, yeah, a deserved winner.
And Heavenly Wage at $71. You could see now why Denny Roberts didn't want to give up that spot behind the leader, because it was perfect and proved too good in the end.
Worked out really well. Rockmeister, Regal Chevelle were the runners-up. Chivalry never got that early lead, which was most punters were hoping that he'd be able to retain that lead. Once Rockmeister got past, Chivalry had to pop to the breeze. Denny got the perfect opportunity there to sweat on them, and that's exactly what she did, and got out at the right time. 154.2, ran the meritorious race. Even though it was $71, its form's been very good.
Cyclone Geordie couldn't have been any more impressive, home in 28-1 and 27-8.
Yeah, it looked like that on paper, didn't it? Cyclone Geordie, with its ability, would dominate this race. Clearly the wraps have been there. When you get them over from New Zealand, obviously there's some apprehension about how they're going to travel over and settle in. This horse hasn't been here all that long, but settled in really well. And we saw the quick quarter the week before, the 26.8, I think it was. And this week in the slipper, it went around pretty well unextended to win. Raynette was terrific run, given the fact that it's a filly, drawn wide, burnt out of the gate. Very smart tactics by Trent Wheeler to get that position, because we had Captains Have Time, likely breeze, and that's why it worked out. Trent worked it out, got the 1-1 and ran second in the slipper. Captains Have Time was meritorious as well. There's a few runners in behind that, they needed luck to be able to paint the palette, ran a solid race to run fourth. But all credit to this horse, Cyclone Geordie, that's really going places in harness racing. And
another good winner in the next in Mr. Smarty. He's returned in great shape. Peter Small, but a nice field.
Yeah, look, a terrific effort. The mile rate good, 154.9. Did it the hard way, but seemingly, sitting outside a horse like Sangre Real, first observations wouldn't be that easy, but the way he accounted for that field and really strongly, he was a sitting duck really for the opposition, albeit not the echelon of fast class, but still a meritorious run, 154.9. They all had their chance to beat him. Some nice horses there running on behind him, but he went terrific, yep.
And in the next, Celesio Matuka won despite causing interference, which clearly, just gifted him the race in the end. So
Junior put his hand up for that one.
Yep.
Couple of 10 days. Be back next week. I think the free-for-all next week is a feature free-for-all. Might be the $100,000 one.
It is, yeah.
It is. And so Mr. Smarty will be in that. So Junior decided to take that time. Celestia Matuka probably was past State of Heaven at the time anyway. It was probably a little bit careless there. and probably didn't need to do it. A terrific run, though. Celestio Matuka did a heap of work.
Yeah,
to
sure did.
maintain that finish. He had horses like Corona and Otis sitting on him, having the last crack, but still pulled out plenty to win.
Starlight Dream for Donald Harper drew the river, but managed to round them up in the end after they broke away there down the back. And great drive by Donald. And this horse has had, it's a 7-year-old, 16 starts for 9 wins.
Yeah, and the barrier 9 was a bit of a turn-off because you need the race run upside down. And in the parade ring interviews, Donald referred to that. He'll need luck, but his intention was drive cold, come late. And there's plenty of action up front. There's a lot of pressure. Further Marquis, crossing over. The favourite, not peaceful, doing the work, not being able to get the front. Created that pressure that was required by Starlight Dream, and it's got that explosive finish in running. You just knew that Starlight Dream was going to be the one that was the danger, and it flooded home very quick last quarter by Starlight Dream too. A horse that loves up-tempo racing, will be set up, driven cold, and it'll win a few more races yet.
And the problem when you don't have a back line is Classic Choice got a running start at them, led all the way to win, and that was that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the key to it. When you can get that situation, it's not a blistering beginner, it's a reasonable beginner, but when you get that advantage, Lamandier just ducked in, took the trail, ran on nicely. Let's Get Rockin', riding on the wall, that's going to be winning a race shortly, got home really well. But Classic Choice dictated that race. Junior was confident before the race, and in the parade ring again, and Julie got the money.
Miss Hepburn for Aidan DeCampo led, won easy.
The start was all important. World Secret, it was a stumbling block in theory on paper, but I was pretty confident Miss Hepburn get the job done. World Secret did over-race badly behind, which took a bit out of World Secret's finish, and there was a little bit of shuffling up late. But, this is class filly. Unfortunately, not going to be in the Oaks. There was a setback there, vet's examination. Not sure of the extent of that, but very disappointing of the horse, of her ability not to be in the Oaks for the camp, because she's one that would have lapped up the 2,500 metres.
An Elegant Peak began very fast, and that was that.
Again, a push from the parade ring. Chris Vogt from the camp, who gave Chris the thumbs up. And once he got the lead and dictated, rolled along, it didn't allow Nicky's son to get into the race, and never looked like getting beaten.
And Velocipede rounded out the night with an easy all-the-way win, giving Gary Hall Jr. 6 winners on the night.
Yep, marathon night. Looked the winner, provided that the lead was there. Il Bandito, it was a pretty obvious decision to sit on it, ran second, did the right thing by themselves there. Cloud9, the one off the track that ran home well, but never looked like getting beaten after getting that easy lead.
Friday night, Gary Hall Senior, 4 winners, 6 to Gary Hall Jr. and a double to Aidan DeCampo. Sunday at Calabaron, a training double to Matthew Scott and a training double to the very powerful Michael Young stable. Driving double to Stuart McDonald, tonight's guests, and Kyle Symington. Not taking much time since getting back from overseas to get back into it, doing very well. Monday at Pinjarra, the Barry Howlett stable continues on with a double there, and also a training double to Chris Folk. Driving double to Jocelyn Young and a driving double to Chris Folk. And Tuesday at Gloucester Park, it was a training double to Nathan Turvey and a driving double to Emily Savelko. So before we go to tonight's guest, Stuart McDonald, let's go back a few weeks to Madam Publisher's last win at Pinjarra. Showed great gate speed and hit the line strongly.
Grass from Pocket the Change, further back to Cherry on the Cake. I'm a Hero and Chambray's last on the corner. It's Madam Publisher first to swing by a length and a half over Pecunious. Seagrass the outside, and then Pocket the Change in fourth from Cherry on the Cake. Madam Publisher leading, Pecunious getting close. She's a half in front behind the lead of the favourite Madam Publisher, who'll lead all the way, and she'll see it out. Madam Publisher cruising to the line.
Yes, that she did, and Pecunious was getting close in the line, but was never going to get past Madam Publisher, who hit the line very well and is a real live chance in the WA Oaks this Friday night. The man who's trains the horse and is going to pilot the horse is joining us tonight. Welcome aboard, Stewie.
Yeah, good afternoon, Glenn. How are we?
Yes. G'day, Stewie. How are you going, mate?
Yeah, good.
Listen, we appreciate your time as always, Stu. You got a good card on Friday night at Gloucester Park, highlighted by Madam Publisher, drawn well in the Group 1 Tad Touch WA Oaks. 10 starts, 6 wins and 3 placings. Been a great pickup for you as a trainer and a driver, Stu.
Yeah, she's done a really good job. I never thought she'd probably do as good as she did, although I thought she could be a nice horse. She's gone past expectations for sure.
Stewie, I noticed in the press you mentioned wasn't suited in the sand, so clearly you're there with Gary, but you've obviously changed around the way you trained her based on the fact you didn't believe the sand suited her. What sort of different attitude did you take to making the changes in the way you work her?
Yeah, so that was just sort of as a late 2-year-old. She wasn't really big, and she didn't really handle the sand, as I said. And I just took her out of it and jogged on top of the ground. And rather than hobble sort of twice a week, she hobbled every second day and did heat work. And that's what sort of sharpened her up as a 2-year-old. And obviously she got a couple of wins on the board there and a second. And I gave her a spell, and she came back and looked a lot better. And she's been in the sand this time in and last time in. But she doesn't work quite as hard as the other ones, and I get most of her fitness sort of out of her hobble work. And yeah, that's so she just took a while to get to it, and she's obviously come on well for it.
A big race Friday night, the Group 1, Tab Touch WA Oaks, over the 2,536 metres for the 3-year-olds. And Glenn and I were just saying earlier on that the 25-36 can sort them out, particularly at that age. Drawn very well, and barrier 10 must be happy with the draw.
Yeah, I certainly am. I thought it was probably the second best draw I could get with the way the marbles fell for all the other ones. Whether Waterloo's able to get across Exceptional Arm, I'm not sure. But three at the pegs is not a bad spot. It probably takes her winning chance away if Waterloo does lead. But if Exceptional Arm is able to hold up, then I think we're right in it.
Stewie, do you see anything left field there? You've got Honey Rider drawn 4. Obviously, outside Waterloo, Waterloo's got gate speed and relatively armour inside Waterloo gate speed as well. Anything else out wide you could see, gut feeling might get involved?
I thought the only one was probably Atlantic Gem, just because I thought that it would get a good slingshot with the start point as well. Obviously, the insider over 25 is not the best for those horses inside. And, I think with the 7 seems to be the better draw out wide, and also it looks like the 6 and the 5 and probably even the 4 are most likely going to go back or not be really getting that heavily involved, which might give Atlantic Gem a clean crack at them at the start. So that's probably the only thing I could see really left field. Other than that, I thought that the speed would be from Waterloo and Exceptional Armour and Relatively Armour.
And there could be a hole there too with the if there is a bit of pressure on with Waterloo trying to get across the 2 brown horses, there could be a gap there for Atlantic Gem to drop into. When you go back to your previous start, you ran 7th. Obviously, you had a lap full of horse. You took the option to go through the middle. Otherwise, you would have had to switch deep around Waterloo, which was the other option, perhaps. But you were travelling well. Obviously, you were looking to try and push out on the corner. The horse was travelling extra well.
Yeah, she was. And I pulled the wrong rein. I thought that with Vesperlin sort of sitting 1-1 the whole way, and they run down the back in 27-something, and Vesperlin pushed out Waterloo. Yep. I thought at the time that my better option was to punch through on Vesperlin's back, seeing it hadn't really done much work, that it should get out and kick on, and it just wasn't able to do that. It sort of just floundered around the corner and up the straight, and Waterloo was able to hold its ground outside of its wheel, just never gave me an option to move again. If I could have that drive again, I would have jumped onto Waterloo's back around the corner, and I think at worst she would have flown down the outside for 3rd, and I think she would have gone pretty close if I just made the right choice at the right time. But obviously, we all get it wrong, and I think I got that one wrong for sure.
Split second, travelling really well on the line. The previous run was when you ran 3rd to the 2 Soho horses to sprint home, 27.8, 27.9, virtually impossible to make ground. Was a solid, meritorious run there as well.
Yeah, I was happy with the way she went. I wasn't happy with the tractability. She has done that to me before a couple of times, where she's wanted to lay in on the corner and start doing things wrong, which she really did that day. She can do things like that. She's done it before as a 2-year-old, and she done it last time in once as well. But she's back to her best. She's straight now. Her track works have been really good. Her tractability's pretty much perfect. Yeah, and also with that run where she ran third at Pinjarra, and even her first start where she won, she probably didn't look as impressive as she's looked before in the past, but she just got a little bit delayed on me when I first went to start hobbling her. I pulled her out of the paddock on a Saturday morning to give her her first hobble run, and her front legs were swollen up and she'd had a virus, and it got delayed a week, which wasn't obviously ideal. So she just went into that first up run at Pinjarra and wasn't 100%, and then she's gotten better through the runs, and I'm pretty sure she's bang on now.
Yep, and so Bollinger, very interesting runner in race 6, drawn one, had to do the work the other day. It was a solid enough run, nothing wrong with it considering the work it had to do. And first up, your intentions here Friday night, you've got a bit of pace outside your Rocket City Tanta Biddy's quick out, and Louis Dior, the class dropper, also can be quick out. What would your intentions be here?
Yeah, definitely try to lead. He felt like he had good gate speed the other day. I don't think he's going to be really suited off the track. He's a big horse, and he can. And I just don't think anywhere else it's going to be that good for him over here. So when we draw the barrier one, we're going to take advantage of it and try lead all the way. And Dean was real happy with his work on Tuesday, and obviously, like you mentioned, first up for 3 years last week, and having to sit in the breeze outside a smart horse and Soho Firestone and other smart horses in the race that were running past him late. So it wasn't too bad a run, and on the rail, I think he should grow a leg.
Yep, and come forward with a run clearly after that time off. And the gate speed, I've had a look at it, pretty good. So there should be a confidence level there. There are a couple of quick beginners there. Tanta Biddy's quick out, but I don't think it can get you. And Louis Dior will be interesting to see what Ryan Bell does tactically. Obviously, that'd be on paper one of your main dangers.
Yeah, for sure. It's a really, really nice horse, Louis Dior. They have been setting it up when they haven't drawn to lead, and I don't really think they've drawn to lead here, just with the speed obviously in between me and it with Tanta Biddy and Rocket City. Like you said, the 2100 metre start, and like you said, Rocket City, it's got gate speed too. It might want to come out, which should help put a buffer on for Tanta Biddy, which is probably the only one I thought could potentially cross, but I just don't think it can with the Rocket City next to it. So no. Pretty confident he should be able to lead.
Faster Than Dad race 9. Interesting runner. Not sure whether he's back to his absolute best yet, but there are some indications there that he's getting to the line okay. Are you sort of happy with the way it's going?
Yeah, I am happy with the way he's going. His first up run was really good, and his second up run was probably a bit better than what it might have looked. It looked like it should have been his race to lose, sort of at the 500 with the way the speed was on. But he was effectively second up from a spell, because last time in. From a really long spell, because last time he never hit his straps, and Georgie found a major problem with him, and he's managed to fix that now, and that's why he's come back and he's already racing better than he was last time in. Happy with him. I think that going to this race, that if there is some sort of genuine speed, there's a few fast beginners there, and Santorini and Infinite Sign, obviously Paul Edwards going to be the one to beat, but if they can put a bit of pressure on early, and we're not sitting too far away from him, which we shouldn't be in a 9-horse field, I think his best and definitely win the race.
Who have you got the leader there? Paul Edward will try and lead. Santorini's got speed. Infinite Sign's got speed. What's your gut feeling there?
Yeah, I thought Paul Edward would either do enough, or it would probably let Infinite Sign get across them all and then take the lead off that. That was my only real thoughts about it. Infinite Sign might want to hold if it does find the front, but I think it gets found out, and it's great when it does do that. So that would be my only thoughts. Obviously, it doesn't concern me too much. I can't get involved, but I can just hope that it's a 36 lead time and 30 quarter the first quarter. Any slow on that obviously probably takes us out of it. But yeah, he's on the right track, this horse anyway. And if he doesn't win this week, he should be winning soon.
Yep.
And now, Stewie, all you have to do is step in the last race. All you got to do, one job, is get the horse to step, and it'd be all over.
Yeah, well, I hope it's that easy.
Never that easy, but...
Been doing all right in the stands lately, actually. I've been driving a few more. I've been stepping them, which I probably shouldn't have said that, but last time I drove this horse, I was off 20 metres and I was in front by the back straight on the first occasion. So hopefully we can step him like that again. And, yeah, he does look the best horse in the field for sure. I'm not sure that all the horses at the front row would want to hand out if I was there quickly, but, I'm not too worried either way. We'll just play it on how we get away, just get away safely, and then worry about getting away quickly second, and make sure he gets his chance, which I think he's good enough to to breeze and win that race anyway. He's going really well at home and he's working super this time in. So yeah, happy with him.
Yeah, he certainly rounds out the card very nicely for you. As I said, got a couple of nice chances there on Friday night. What about other horses coming through the stable, Stu?
We haven't got any more. We got the free for alls coming back next Friday. Yep. That's always exciting. I was talking to Gareth this morning. I wasn't sure what was going on with Never Ending, whether he's going to be back in time for the Pacing Cup or not. You might know more about that, Mort. But
he won't be back here in time for the Pacing Cup. No, definitely not.
Oh, that's unfortunate for you. It's unfortunate for me too, because that means I probably won't get Mr. Smarty anymore. So, but I'm still very, very happy with driving Jumpin' Jack Mac. He's come back well again this time. He didn't have too long off. But he just, every time I drive him, he comes back from a break, he seems to feel like he's gotten a bit better. And the one thing with him is we know he's a proven free for all, and he can certainly be right in the finish in those big races. So yeah, it's definitely not a bad drive to have if Mr. Smarty's no longer available.
Yeah, he's a very nice horse, Jumpin' Jack Mac. He's very durable, and he's proven at the highest level. And great drive to be great drive to have coming up to all the big races, Stu, so I wouldn't be too upset, that's for sure.
And Stu...
No, definitely not.
Stu, with that free-for-all next week, which is a Group 1, I think, $100,000 to Brennan, isn't it, next week?
It's either the Porter or the Brennan, one of the two, and one's 2 weeks later.
Yep. Jumping Jack Mac going around. Diego, the other one, Wild West, are they all going around?
Yeah, I believe so. They all started working up at the same time, and yeah, they're all actually working really, really good. Happy with all of them. They come to hand quickly. Senior initially thought they weren't going to be ready, but after their work last Saturday, they all just they all worked real sharp and good. So yeah, they're ready to rock and roll, and they'll still need the run probably, as they all do in that grade. But yeah, if they get the draws, they'll still be good enough to take advantage of them. And yeah, they'll only get better heading towards the Pacing Cup.
So there should be four free-for-allers in next week based on that. Mr. Smarty obviously going around as well. And you'd imagine the Bond horses would be getting close to Minstrel. Laverageau trialled yesterday. You'd imagine he'd go around. Had sort of a softish trial though. Didn't knock him around. And then you've got Minstrel and you've got... who else from that camp?
Tenzing
Bromac's the other one you'd imagine would be having to appear at a $100,000 race. You'd imagine they'd be ready. And what about from your side, Mort's? Mighty Ronaldo, would he be ready?
Yep, he'll be ready.
So Mighty Ronaldo. So that's almost shaping like a Pacing Cup field already, which is pretty exciting, Stewie.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think our free-for-all ranks are really good at the moment. Obviously, it's been a bit lacklustre through the winter. But I think when the big races show up, I think it's really a really good crop of free-for-allers, and there's no absolute standout at the moment. Obviously, there's a couple that are coming through the grade that we think can be standouts, like Never Ending and Mr. Smarty, but they've really got to prove themselves up at that grade just yet. And yeah, it's awesome for us going forward. It's awesome for WA Racing to have such good horses, mate. To be able to race on Fridays in the big races.
It certainly is. We had the Golden Slipper last week for the 2-year-olds, leading into we got the Oaks, we got the WA Derby coming up, then we got the Pacing Cup, and then we go through the 4-year-old races. So from here to
tremendous
the end of the year is just a great time to be involved in WA harness racing. That's for sure. And you're part of it, Stu, and I'm sure you're going to play a very big part in the upcoming months. That's for sure.
Stewie, while we got you here too, you've Northam and Collie. Quick flick through. I don't know whether the barrier draws and the competition at Northam's pretty strong. You've got on the back foot up against Prince of Pain, and you've got Golden Load. You're up against Golden Load in another race. You're driving on the back foot Recover Lover, Tempt the Stars, Crowd of Reactor, Codename Elliot is an Emergency in the first. That looks a bit tough, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does look. It looks a bit tough night up there. Obviously, just with the barriers, a couple of them could have been place chances with good barriers, but it seems like I've gone up there and getting 5 and 6 in all of them. So
no good.
Yeah, there's unfortunately not much going. Tempt the Stars is going well though. Obviously, Quentin will be hard to beat of Reedy's, but yeah, Tempt the Stars is actually going good for the little horse that he is. Yeah, if he's any sort of place price, I'd be looking at that. But that's about all I think I've got for the night.
And Collie, you've got Seaside Joe, which gets an opportunity. The other day it ran second, I think, at Pinjarra. It gets its opportunity. You've got one for Bob Millsop, Girl of Brightness. I see it trialled against Major Darling, I think. Well, it might be up against Major Darling at Collie from memory. I think Major Darling will be odds-on favourite. Do you know anything about Girl of Brightness other than trial?
Not a whole lot. Bob did tell me that he reckons it goes all right. He rang me up yesterday, asked me to drive it, and he said it does go good. So hopefully, it does look like obviously Major Darling will be very hard to beat. But it is Collie, and you never know what can really happen up there. Obviously, so we'll we'll just go on what he tells me tomorrow, and hopefully we get some sort of luck and run in the places.
You're driving Seaside Joe, which would be short price. Few little issues, that horse though. Got to get around the track and all that sort of stuff, I suppose. But it's got a bit of gate speed, I guess. So it gets an opportunity. And Cappy the Fiery was the other one. I think you're driving. Only 3 drives at Collie, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm in the first, second, and last, which sort of ruins the whole day out.
You would have been
honest,
thrilled. I saw that. It could have been out early.
Could have been at the bar a lot earlier than what I'm going to be, unfortunately. But anyway, that's my job. Obviously, Seaside Joe probably should have won the other day, but like you said, it's not an easy horse to get going, and I know George had a lot of trouble with it. So it should be better for the run, especially on the close back up. If it just gets out the gate and gets around that first corner, it should be hard to beat.
Yep.
Well, Stewie, as always, we thank you very much for your time. We wish you all the very best on Friday night and over the rest of the weekend, and you'll be happy to know that people that come on the show normally get a double that Friday night at Gloucester Park. So you never know. It could be race 5 and it could be the lucky last. So all the best and thanks for your time, Stu.
No worries. Thank you very much. If you remember last time I was on, I had a really good night, and obviously I declared Mr. Smarty in that 4 and 5-year-old championship, and I think I was end up being proven correct about how good that horse is.
Yeah, no doubt.
You certainly have been. He's an absolute ripper. So you're going to declare anything on Friday night, Stu?
Well, I won't declare anything at much of a price. I think Black Flash should just be winning, but I don't think you're going to see much value about it. So. Nothing else for me, sorry.
No, it's
winning
all
will do. Don't worry about it.
Yes, good luck. Somebody with a vested interest. No, all the best, and thanks again for your time, Stu.
Thanks, Stu.
No worries. Thank you, guys.
There we have Stuart McDonald. Got a good card there on Friday night, and just a good bloke, Stuart McDonald.
Certainly is, well. and driving really well. You know, he's a driver that's with the experience and driving good horses over a period of time now. He's developed greatly as a driver over the last 12 to 18 months, and he's one of the best drivers in the state.
Certainly is. Now, this segment is brought to us by Loans 123. Car loans, personal loans, travel, commercial loans. Who do you see? The great man, Steve Sell, the nude nut. Loans 123. You can contact Steve on 1800 100 100. Still doing things the banks can't. All right, that was a big first session there, Glenn. So as we go to the break, we're going to go back to last Friday night at Gloucester Park, and Elter Tribute, as we said earlier on, did it from the breeze, was very tough and got the win.
Out wide, finishing very strongly indeed. Artful Major tried to get onto its back, but got the head up around the turn, and Dark Eyes battles on as well. Menemsha struggling around the turn, and the leader is Ultra Tribute, with Tualoo giving chase out wide. Back in the centre is Dark Eyes, still Ultra Tribute in front. On the outside, Tualoo is coming after the leader, but Ultra Tribute in front of Tualoo. Ultra Tribute holding on, big win. Ultra Tribute has won from Tualoo.
Hi, I'm Steve Sell from Loans 123. We are car finance specialists. We can help you find the loan you're looking for, your new car, and help find a home for your old one. If you want a new or used car but feel uncomfortable visiting car yards on your own, we can help and often save you money. For a stress-free way of buying and financing your next car, who do you see? Steve Sell at loans123.com.au or call 1800 100 100.
Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Cyclone Geordie's under a massive grip here from Hall. It's clear by 3 metres to Captains Have Time. Raynette is out 3 wide. Back behind them, Paint the Pallet and Noble Thorondor. But Cyclone Geordie has got the golden slipper absolutely shot to bits. Cyclone Geordie racing right away under no pressure from Raynette, and Captains Have Time. And a brilliant win to Cyclone Geordie, won by 10 metres to Raynette.
Yes, it certainly was a brilliant win there by Cyclone Geordie for Gary Hall Senior, driven by Gary Hall Jr. Very impressive, had that one start here in WA and was an easy winner, got the right draw, got to the front, and that was it, Glenn, all over.
Certainly was, yeah. This is a really classy horse, isn't it?
Yeah.
And but as we said earlier, you've got to get the job done, and fortunate with the barrier draw and all that, but I don't think it would have mattered at all. More just the way this horse is going. It probably could have won from any draw.
Yeah, certainly could. Now, this segment is brought to us by Steel Blue Boots. Built for comfort, made for work, they are a mark of true skill. Designed for comfort, durability and choice, backed by a 30-day, 100% guarantee. And, of course, they're very good supporters here at Gloucester Park, and Ross Fitzgerald from Steel Blue Boots is a big supporter of harness racing, owning plenty of reasonably fast horses, so he's a very lucky man. Talking about lucky men, because he's an Essendon supporter, and we're about to welcome him in, and that is our man, Scott Bomberhill. Welcome to the show, Bomber.
Yes, I haven't heard those words for many years, Morts, but thanks for the welcome.
That's all right. How's things? Had the week off last week, all fresh and ready to go?
Yeah, we had a good week a couple of weeks ago, so it was good to have the week off last week and hopefully find a few more tomorrow night.
You never went to the grand final at all?
No, actually had a very quiet one. I did a fair bit of work in the backyard in the morning, and had a fairly quiet one just at home, and thankfully I did, to be honest, because it was a bit of a fizzer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was. Sydney never really turned up. The MCG might be the problem there. They'll probably have to change the way they play on the MCG because they got found out, didn't they? Defensively, they just chopped them up.
Yeah, they sure did. I mean, I didn't really like Sydney's chances for most of the year. I didn't think they had enough forwards to kick goals, but then that week in the prelim, they were super impressive and their foot skills were so good. But, they just didn't turn up at all. Maybe the MCG is the issue.
Yes, it was very poor, but anyway, it's always a spectacular.
The Eagles' problem is actually getting to the MCG, as is Essendon's problem, actually getting there on the big day. So at least they got there.
True, they've been there twice in a few years and, haven't managed to get it done. But, you'd rather be there than not, that's for sure.
Definitely.
All right, Bomber, let's look for some winners, and we're heading off to Gloucester Park tomorrow night. There's 4 races you're going to cover, and the first event is at 5:10 p.m, and that is the Tab Touch Place a Same Race Multi-Pace. That's the first race we're going to, and number 1, Sugar Shake, $4. 2, Major J, $10. Number 3, More Sass for our man Cody Waldrod at $23. Number 4, You Better Follow Me for Jane Steer and Trent Wheeler at $23. I Better number 5 at $26. Number 6, Magnus Victor at $2.15. 7, Beyond Bling, $101. 8, Robbie Easton at $41. 9, Pierre Whitby at $41, and off the back row, number 10, Naming Lights, $10, Maddie for Stuart McDonald, $61, and Lamandiere for the very powerful Michael Young stable is at $12. What do you like, Bomber?
Yeah, I'm very keen Magnus Victor. He drops in grade big time here from his first up effort at Pinjarra, where he ran the gate and then took a sit in the running line. And they ran their last 1,200 in 1:24.1 that day, which is absolutely low flying over that trip. And he was 1 off the fence and then 3 wide late. And, he didn't lose any ground on that occasion. And a repeat of that effort will seem too good here, I think. He's a pretty quick beginner. He can run the gate and he doesn't have to lead, but if he does, I can't see them beating him.
Yeah, very impressive run. I can sense a lot of confidence here. How many units for this one?
Yeah, he's a 3-unit bet for sure. Hopefully we can get a touch of black odds and start the night on the right foot.
Gee whiz, sounding very confident there,
Very
Bomber.
confident,
You sound like the Essendon coach will be next year when he's asked about his chances of making the grand final. So we move on to race number 4, which is the Tab Touch Share My Bet free-for-all. Race number 4 at 6:58 p.m. over the 2,130 metres. Number 1, Soho Dow Jones for Kim Prentice and Mitchell Miller at $2.35. Number 2, My Ultimate Baxter at $10. Number 3, Rascal at $26. Number 4, Steal the Show for Team Bond and Denny Roberts at $7.50. Number 5, Little Happy Fella for Debbie Padberg and Shannon Savelko was very good in last time at $21. Number 6, El Capone at $16. 7, Hampton Banner at $34. Number 8, El Daytona at $31. Number 9, Karana at $7.50. And one off the back, which is number 10, Sangu Real for Christopher Voke at $5. What do you like in this, Bomber?
Yeah, with Sangre Real, I think he's drawn to be pretty competitive here. He has the back line, but looks to follow the leader. And whilst he might require his share of luck late, I think if it does come, he's going to be very hard to hold out. I thought he was probably a touch of unders last time after he led from a wide gate, but Soho Dow Jones should hold up from the inside here. And he's a horse that can be a little bit vulnerable late, particularly in these higher grade races. And I think there's enough pressure off the arm, and then mid-race, Sangue Real might be the one with the fresh legs if he can find that gap late.
Yeah, look, Sangue Real strikes me as a horse that last week, the 154.9 with Mr. Smarty outside him, probably in that situation in future, he can follow the pace quite well, but actually being the playmaker with a horse like that outside you, driving up the wall, and keep coming at you, they find it a little bit difficult. But this barrier draw in this class and better class probably suited by just following the pace.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Glenn. I think the draw is going to be perfect so long as that gap does come.
Confidence level?
Yeah, it's hard to be confident when you are requiring a bit of luck, but I am confident if the luck comes that you win the race. So yeah.
Yep.
How many units, Bomber?
Just the one more. It's given that touch of luck required.
It's all right. We'll have plenty in the bank after the race number 1, so we'll have a 1 unit bet there. Race 4, number 10, Sangu Real. Okay, Bomber, we're going to take a short break and then come back and look at another couple of races. And as we go to a break, we're going to go back to last Friday night. And this one is a horse that lives up to his name. He looks like a very smart animal. And, of course, it's Mr. Smarty, who went round last Friday night at Gloucester Park and was just far too good for them.
Dashes past Sangre Real, El Daytona, Too Fast, Too Serious. They're both getting home. Then Little Happy Fella, Soho Dow Jones, 27.9. Mr. Smarty in front to the outside, El Daytona, and also Too Fast, Too Serious. But it's Mr. Smarty in front of El Daytona, Too Fast, Too Serious. Little Happy Fella, Mr. Smarty's in front of El Daytona, Too Fast, Too Serious, and he does it well. Mr. Smarty, a powerful beast. He wins from El Daytona, Too Fast, Too Serious.
There's always a lot more in store for you at Retrovision, like Retrovision's lowest price guarantee. If you find a lower price on a same stocked item, we'll beat it. There's our 60-day price promise, where we'll refund you 120% of the difference if you find a lower advertised price on any purchase. Plus, RAC members save an extra 5% every day of the year. After 60 years, a lot has changed, but there's still a lot more in store at Retrovision.
You are listening to Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley.
Inside, Fleur de Marquis. Here's Starlight Dream coming with a sizzler though. And then Pocket the Change. Rebline, Dame Bella around the turn. Starlight Dream out deep on the track is trying to reel in these leaders. And it's Fleur de Marquis peaceful, but Starlight Dream went bang on the outside, shot to the front. Pocket the Change. Good deal, Matty late the inside from Peaceful, but Starlight Dream with a big looping run comes home to beat Pocket the Change. Third home Peaceful.
Certainly was a very big looping run there, trained and driven by Donald Harper. And as we mentioned before, 7-year-old, 16 starts for 9 wins. Very impressive record.
Very much so, yeah. A very nice horse. The mother was a good horse. Didn't go to the line all that good. Had huge sprinting ability, but she didn't have a mind on the job often. But had that sprint, this horse has got the sprint, but it seems to have its mind right on the job.
Certainly does. And always good to see Donald Harper has some success. He does a terrific job with his horses, that's for sure. Now, this segment is brought to us by Bayswater Mazda. In driving is better with Bayswater Mazda on the corner of Garrett Road and Guildford Road in Bayswater. Get out there and see the great team at Bayswater Mazda. Great range, great service, and the best coffee in town. And I can certainly vouch for that, that's for sure. So, Bomber, as we go to our next race, we go to race number 6, which is at 8:10 p.m, the Tab Touch Restricted Spring Feature. Mobile pace over 2,130 metres. Very nice field, it's very competitive. Number 1, Soho Bollinger at $3.60. Number 2, Rocket City, $12. 3, Tantabiddy at $26. Number 4 is out. Number 5, Louis Dior at $3. Number 6, Velocipede at $16. 7, Belize Nera for Dylan Edgerton Green at $23. Number 8, Vegas Strip at $7.50. 9, Cry Havoc at $151. Number 10, Illawong Mustang at $23. 11, Elwoodell at $26. And number 12, Soho Firestone at $19. What do you like in this, Bomber?
Yeah, I'm a big Louis Dior fan, Morts, and I think he's found a nice race here. I can make a case to suggest he probably could have just about won last time in a much harder race. He found found some clear racing room. He buffeted his way into the one outline at the bell and then became stuck in a gap that he never got out of. And the form out of that race is incredibly strong, and I think this is a nice enough race, but I think there's a bit of speed underneath him. He can sort of just roll forward into a position, and he may even want to have a look for the front as well. I'm not sure. Just sort of play it by ear what happens underneath, I guess. But I think he's got a really good future, this bloke, and if he does, he needs to be winning races like this. So I think he's the one.
Yeah, and Bomber, it's one of the races of the night, really, when you look at it. Good field. As you suggested, a lot of gate speed there. Bollinger, Rocket City and Tantabiddy underneath there. There might be some intent early. Tantabiddy's got gate speed, but Rocket City has in the middle as well. And so Bollinger, we did speak to Stuart McDonald a moment ago, and he indicated his intentions to lead and hold the lead. So that probably means there's going to be a little bit of heat on early, perhaps. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Louis Dior is the one that also can accelerate out of the gate. Whether the belly, takes the risk and has a launch out of the gate will be interesting. But given what's underneath him, I doubt whether he'll do that.
Yeah, I think he probably gets the option just to sort of slot in behind those three if they do all run the gate. But I think he's just I really like him. I think he can afford to just probably have a look what happens underneath and make a decision from there. And I think he can still get the job done.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bomber. I'm with you, Bomber. I think he is a very nice horse, progressive horse. Annie Belton's done a terrific job with this horse. Had his few problems over the journey, but done a terrific job to get him where he is. And like you said, I think he's got a good future, and he should be winning a race like this. So race 6, number 5, Louis Dior. What was our staking plan, Bomber? Sorry.
Yeah, 2 units more. It's pretty confident in his ability for sure.
2 units, very good. Okay, so we move along now to race number 8 at 9:03 p.m. Tab Touch. Have you got the touch? Mobile start over the 2,130 metres. Number 1, Cloud 9 for Donald Harper, $6. 2, Chambray for Deborah Lewis at $8. 3, G Smith is $18. 4, Il Bandito at $16. 5, American Monarch at $16. 6, Here Comes Sharky at $61. 7, You Fly With Me at $18. Number 8, Brewery Lane at $71. 9, Dwayne at $41. On the inside of the back row, Soho Moonraker for Kim Prentice and Mitchell Miller at $1.80. And 11, Aligo Zoom, $71. And number 12, Tucks and Tails, $18. Where are you looking here, Bomber?
Yeah, I'm with Soho Moonraker. I think he comes up with a sticky-looking draw, but I don't think it'll end up as bad as it initially looks, and he'll probably get off the fence pretty quickly. But I think the draw may enable us to get somewhere around that $2 mark. he trialled magnificently before his WA debut, where he dropped a 54-1 last half on his way to beating the star mare Steno, and that was just 5 days before his WA debut, where he had to do a fair bit of work and got to the breeze, and then they ran a 56 last half, which left too much for him to do. But I think he can work off the pegs early, and the 11 will be looking to drop to the pegs, which should open that gap up, and I think his class will just get him over the line.
Yeah, and the prices are up on Tab Touch now. Bomber, $1.75. He might get out a bit, as you suggest, because of that draw, and $3.90 Cloud 9. And just going back to the previous one, you were talking about Louis Dior and Soa Bollinger, $2.65 fixed odds on Tab Touch. Louis Dior, $2.60 on Tab Touch.
Good
so
price.
those markets are out. Yeah, it's a pretty good price. And this one here, $1.75. It'll probably be around the $1.80 to $2 mark, you'd imagine, at some point because of that draw.
I think so. I don't think he'll get any tighter than that opening price, and he'll sort of fluctuate somewhere between there and $1.90, $1.95, $2, I think. And I think if he reproduces that trial effort, then he should blow these away.
Yeah, and had a tough run, didn't he? Pinjarra didn't really suit the way that race was run. They were running when he took off, basically, and they kept running. So it wasn't that as bad as it looked in the previous. As you say, the trial was put down your glasses if it repeats that performance with the speed that it's got.
Yeah, sounding very confident there, Bomber. What's our staking plan? Race 8, number 10, Soho Moonraker.
Yeah, in a field like this, I think it's just a case of him getting off the pegs early and expect him just to be too good. So we're going to go home with a 3 unit as well, Morts.
I like it, Bomber. Start with a 3, finish with a 3. And what about a multi, Bomber?
We got a multi that I thought we would potentially get around the $2 mark, maybe slightly less, and 2 horses that I can't have beaten, and that's Waterloo in the Oaks. I think she just wins. And then on the Black Flash in the stand, I thought he was really good first up. The leader is a pretty tough horse to get around and just had conditions to suit, and I think he'll beat these in the last. So, yeah, we should get somewhere around the $2 mark for that double, I think.
$2, that's race number 5, horse number 3, Waterloo, and race number 10, horse number 6, I'm the Black Flash, for tonight's guest, Stuart McDonald. I was going to ask what's your tip in the WA Oaks, but you've already given us that, Bomber. Can't see Waterloo beaten?
No, I think she's shown she's had the wood on these, most of the way through, and comes up with a plum draw. It's from my eye, it's really hard to see it beat.
How are you reading an early, Bomber, in terms of the speed map? Clearly, the Colin Brown's intentions would be for Madison to hold the lead if they can at 2,500. That they've got relatively armour in the middle, and then Waterloo. Mike Reed's indicated in the press that he wants to be super aggressive. Do you think Waterloo eventually get the lead?
I think so. I think she might even zap them off the arm, but even if she doesn't, I think she's going to put enough pressure on to enable herself to roll there, and she'll get a break through the middle. And if the other two manage to sort of keep their legs underneath and look like they were going to hold it comfortably, Shannon wouldn't panic. I don't think it'd be an issue. She could, I think she could sit in the breeze and win.
Yeah, look, it looks very hard to beat, doesn't she, the way she's going. And the 2,500 you wouldn't think would hold any fears. Anything can happen, though. Lion Queen's going well, Madam Publisher going well. Atlantic Gem, a bad draw, but really got to the line off the nice run. There's quite a few chances in it if something went wrong with the favourite.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think, that last run was probably, in hindsight, leading into this race, was probably as much a benefit as anything. She wasn't knocked around.
No.
She was never in the race, but she didn't have that hard a run. So, I think her class will prevail based on what we've seen so far.
And then, of course, there's the other great clash on Friday night, Bomber, which is race number 7, Artie by the Seaside and Steno making a return to racing. Should be another classic battle between these two.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. I think I'll stay out, but could well be one off the arm. We know how brilliant Steno is off the arm, but Artie by the Seaside's quick enough in her own right, and drawn next door, it's going to be pretty hard to cross. And then you got Castella Dell'Acqua, who may just try and keep her toes underneath initially as well. So, yeah, looking forward to this one. I reckon it's going to be quite intriguing.
They've gone up $1.60 Artie by the Seaside and $2.45 Steno. Castella Dell'Acqua $6.50. It'll be interesting, the early burn. I just wonder whether right alongside whether Artie by Seaside looks likely to be the leader, but you just don't know, I guess, depending on whether Jocelyn's super aggressive first up's another issue too.
I think that's the big point. Drawn right beside and first up, she's not going to want to bust us. So yeah, there's a good chance she doesn't even have a crack off the arm. But I guess we won't know until the arms go back. So I'm happy to watch and see what happens in that one.
Yeah, we can tune into the parade ring interviews too. There's some big interviews tomorrow night required for some tactical reasons, and they've been terrific lately. Some of those interviews, you're just getting great insight from the drivers.
Yeah, 100%. It's sometimes a difference between betting and not betting, so or having a saver or whatever the case may be. They're definitely a great insight.
No doubt.
Well, Bomber, big night at Gloucester Park tomorrow night. Lots of confidence there. Start with a 3, finish with a 3. Got a multi that can't get beaten. I'll call Armagard to give me a lift home. So we appreciate that. We appreciate your time as always, and we will talk to you again next week. Good luck on the weekend.
And best of luck to you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Scott Bomber Hill, sounding very confident there. Had a great Friday night a couple of weeks ago, and very confident there. So we look forward to following him tomorrow night at Gloucester Park. Now, as we go to the break, Miss Hepburn for Aidan DeCampo was just a stroll in the park. Nice, easy win there, going back to last Friday night at Gloucester Park.
2 metres, Chili Punter, no clear run, World Secret, doesn't look like getting out until late. Copy of Paris 3 wide, out 4 wide, battling on onto the Eagle, and back behind them, Chili Punter, no run. He goes for Miss Hepburn now. It's nicely clear from World Secret, the inside. Bonamore on the outside, Copy of Paris running really well. Bonamore's going to hold down second, but Miss Hepburn is well clear, and Miss Hepburn won by 8 metres to Bonamore. Third.
New Mazda.
Yep, I love it. We got it from Bayswater Mazda.
I keep hearing great things about them.
They're fantastic to deal with. Great people, great coffee too.
At Bayswater Mazda, you'll always be well looked after. Visit the team today and find the best drive-away deals on new Mazdas and pre-owned vehicles. Driving is better with Bayswater Mazda.
So's the coffee.
Go and see Bayswater Mazda at the corner of Guildford and Garrett Road, Bayswater. DL 25174.
You are listening to Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley.
The outside covers it back in a pocket and has the momentum coming to the turn, and it got a little bit tight there at the bend behind those Lowlands Beach Boy. They're in their own race, having their own battles as they come into the straight. Sprint lane will beckon for Bank Notice, who looks a real strong chance to get the exacta, but Blaze Away is going to win by a minute and eclipses them down to the line. Big win, Blaze Away won by as far as you thought he would. Second, Bank Notice up the inside.
I think Matty Young might have been wrong there. I don't think it was a minute. I think it was a minute and a half.
Dominant.
Absolutely. Saw it go past the post and had to wait about 35 seconds for the next horse to come past. So absolutely destroyed them down there at Calabaran, which was a great day of racing there at Calabaran last Sunday as well.
Yes, it was. Look, there's always a good meeting out there. And Michael Young going out there with that horse, probably a bit class above them, of course.
Just a touch.
Was a nice, easy win for him, but yeah, good competitive day's racing.
Yeah, certainly was. It was a great day. And this weekend we have coming up, we have Northern and we have Collie, and somebody who is very good at tipping winners at Northern and Collie is Ollie Cownie, who joins us on the show now. Welcome, Ollie.
Hey, Silky. Hey, Morts. How you going?
Very well, thanks, mate. How's the week been?
Yeah, really good. Really enjoyed the week of racing that's been, and it looks like it doesn't stop. It's going to be a great week of racing coming up.
What's your tip in the Oaks?
I thought, it's hard to really go past the favourite Waterloo, but if there is a bit of speed on, I thought Lion Queen, she's a very underrated horse, and she could be one that could blow them out if there was a potential speed battle at some point in the race.
Yeah, no, going really well. And we'll be relying on that early pressure, but certainly capable of taking advantage of it if that happened, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then, of course, we've got Artie by the Seaside in the same race as Steno returning to racing. So big nights racing there on Friday night at Gloucester Park. Should be an absolute Ripper, Ollie. Absolutely.
Oh, that'll be a fantastic race, that one.
Yep.
I think it's obviously a rematch of what we saw earlier in the year on Nullarbor night, was it, where they ran that fantastic mile race, and
Yeah, the
obviously Arties by the
154.6.
Seaside came out on top.
Yeah, 154.6, quicker than the Nullarbor, and one of the fastest times you'll see, particularly for mares, over 2,536 metres. Tremendous. Do you think Steno will have a crack at trying to get past Artie by the Seaside first up?
I wouldn't think they'd be wanting to put all their eggs in one basket, but gee, the Jocelyn Young stable at the moment are absolutely flying. So
Certainly.
if they did get forward and got to the front, then gee, she'd be really hard to beat, wouldn't she?
Definitely going well. The trial was good. Some improvement there probably after that trial as well.
Definitely. It was interesting that the horse that it did trial alongside, I think it was Soho Moonraker, was it? And
correct, yeah.
That horse came out and was a bit disappointing first up.
Did a bit of work, probably out of its comfort zone a bit in the run, but yeah, on face value compared to that, yes, but there's probably reasons looking at it as well.
Now, Ollie, the good news is after Friday night at Gloucester Park and Scott Bomber Hill, we are going to have fairly healthy Tab Touch accounts to head into the country racing on the weekend. So
then we up tempo with Ollie.
Yes, correct. Yeah, so we're just going to head to whereabouts you're going to take us to, Northam and Collie this weekend.
First one we'll head to with big wallets will be race 2 Northam on Saturday night. I thought in this race, Immaculate is a horse that generally does her best work when she's able to find the fence. She's had a couple of pretty awkward draws in recent starts. She's drawn 6 at Kellerberrin and then drew 6 again at Gloucester Park and just wasn't suited in either of those races and couldn't really get into it. And that most recent effort was behind a horse I think is quite smart and Get the Booth. And I think this race, she has some options in the early stages and it doesn't look an overly strong race and we could get each way odds about her. So I thought she'd be pretty hard to beat over the mile, Immaculate.
So that's race 2, number 1, Immaculate for Hayden Reeves and Kyle Symington. And what else have you got for us there at Northam?
And then in race 4, I've got one for us that's just really dropping in class, has been taking on some of the better horses, Prince of Pain, some of the better 3-year-olds, and drops into this race and really does look the class runner. 2100 trip, seemingly suits on paper. Took on Alta Tribute last start, which looks really smart, that horse. So I think this looks significantly easier and despite a bit of an awkward draw, I think can just be put into the race and might just whip around them and find the front. So that's one that if it opens very short, I think is one for multis, or if it opens a bit longer, then can play it straight out. But I'd be guessing it starts short. However things play out. I don't think Cherry on the Cake is going that well. So I think if it's the leader, it might take the sit on the class runner in the field.
Certainly looks that way, Ollie, that's for sure. Big dropper in class there.
Definitely.
So from Northam on Saturday, we go to Collie on Sunday. What have you got for us there at Collie?
Looks to be some good racing at Collie. There's a few interesting races, I thought, on this card. The one I'm keen on is race 2. I thought Star of the Galaxy is actually racing quite well at the moment. I thought it could be a really good place bet for us, or a Quinnell option with Seaside Joe. I think the horse is very well suited by that inside back row draw and does have pretty good gate speed. So I think should be able to hold that position. And if that's the case, Seaside Joe rolls along in front and it looks like a good 1x3 type bet. And if it gets clear in the later stages, might be a challenger to that likely favourite in Seaside Joe.
Right, so that is in Collie race number 2. And from there we go to which one, Ollie?
We go to the next race, race 3. I thought Shoal Bay was really good 2 starts ago when leading at Pinjarra. That race, they didn't go quick early, but they ran home reasonably good sectionals, and I think has the gate speed to lead and dictate in this race. I think it looks a potentially similar field to that day and has options in the early stages. If Shoal Bay is each way odds, I'd struggle to see how it doesn't end up in the finish in this race. Regimental Star was a last start winner, but probably won a fairly weak race in 202 there at Calabrian. So we'll need to improve off that, which it might, third up off a very long break, but I'm happy to be with Shoal Bay from the draw.
So that's race 3, number 1, Shoal Bay for Chris Pale and Charles Draper at Collie. And then Albion Park on Saturday night, Ollie?
Race 3, Albion Park. There's a horse here that's just going incredibly well, Master Charles. I think last start it opened about $3 and ended up starting $12 or something like that, and won extremely impressively again. And it's just been in incredible form. I think he'll zip over at the start. He's got brilliant gate speed, and from there he has options to sit on potentially one of the better horses, which the best horse is probably Raging Sea, but it's drawn inside the back row, which looks pretty awkward for it. But I think Master Charles is another one we can play on that 1/3 basis. I struggle to see how he's not in the finish. If he's able to find that helmet to follow, he should be finishing off strongly.
So race number 3, horse number 2, Master Charles. We're going to have a Richie 1/3 there to round out the weekend. So thanks, Ollie. All the best of luck over the weekend while you're punting. You'll be looking forward to watching Catch a Wave versus Leap to Fame, and of course over here on Friday night at Gloucester Park, Steno and Artie by the Seaside, and then of course at Oaks Field. So a great weekend of harness racing coming up.
Really looking forward to it all. Thanks, guys.
Thanks very much, Ollie.
All right, there we go. There's Ollie Cownie. Now, we shouldn't forget, Glenn, that after a fill-up on Friday night and then Saturday and Sunday at Northern and Collie and Albion Park, the wallets are going to be full. So no better time than to get into your local Retrovision store.
Good to me.
And empty that wallet. Now, cash register, remember, lowest price guarantee, and RAC members save an additional 5% every day at Retrovision. Big bonus sale on at the moment with plenty of bonuses store-wide, so don't miss out.
Sounds fantastic.
Across the weekend. Anything else across the weekend? I see the barrier, sorry, not the barrier draw, the rankings, first lot of rankings came out for the WA Derby, which was interesting. No, didn't appear to be too many surprises there at close look. What were your thoughts, Glenn?
Yeah, well, the logic, we saw Christopher Dant's trial, albeit just watching it in terms of the way it trialled, it looked a bit lazy, and Denny had to coax it a little bit to get his mind on the job. I remember talking to Bondi the other week, who referred to this horse being a bit bully, being a colt. They'd bite your hand off if you let it. So it's just interesting to watch the trial. It's got plenty of bottom there, and when she opened it up late, Christopher Dance went to the line really strongly, but she had to sort of make it do it, which was, I wanted that trial might just bring it on, of course, and sharpen it up. But it's very interesting. It was a little bit off the bit on the bit in the run, and Denny had to keep reminding it of its obligations.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that it's got a huge amount of bottom to it based on its runs in New Zealand. Second in the Northern Districts Derby went enormous, did a heap of work. But maybe just a little pipe opener's just woken it up. It'll be interesting to see when they start first up. But it's right up in the rankings. Bet the House clearly's there in the rankings as well. Have you got those rankings in front of you there, Morts?
I did about 30 seconds ago, and of course, when I need it, it disappears. But so Worlds Above, which is the golden ticket winner, then Bet the House, Waterloo, Christopher Dance, Wave Rider, Franco Encore, Elter Tribute, Vegas Strip, Menemsha, Tualoo, Artful Mickey, and Artful Major. They round out the first 12. So there's a couple of nice horses just outside. So there'll be some that will continue to push hard for a spot in the WA Derby.
It's going to get tight, isn't it? We've got 1st of November is the final, and you've got these horses right on the borderline that need to perform.
Certainly do.
Like you've got two there, Artful Mickey and Artful Major, 11 and 12, they're currently in, but you just need a good performance there to top them off. Vegas Strip went a lot better the other night
Certainly
too.
Did.
A lot better run. And you've got the horses just outside the running there. Then you came along, Armour Believer, Cabochon. It'll be interesting to see when we see them. So Skyfall Rocks the World's one that went pretty well the other day when it won.
Yep.
A very, very good drive by Trent Wheeler when he circled the field, got the lead. It's one that could progress in the next set of rankings if it puts in another good performance. So you just got to be on the first, probably 8 are okay, but 8 or 10. But the last couple of positions will be up to their performances in the next couple of weeks.
Which is what we want to see. We want to see good competitive racing.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, we head into, in the middle of November, we've got the WA Pacing Cup and all the rich 4-year-old races coming up after that. So it's a bit of a feast these last 3 months of harness racing.
I think it's the Brennan on next week, the $100,000 Group 2, which is a golden ticket, I think.
Correct.
Into the Pacing Cup. So that's a critical race. And you'd imagine all the big guns will be back for that.
And then you've got I think it's the Howard Porter 2 weeks later.
I think the Porter, it's the Stratton, I think.
Oh, the Stratton.
Stratton will be the other one. Howard Porter's been run. But yeah, another $100,000 opportunity. And then we've got the interesting thing with Andy Gath indicating that he still wants to come if he can get a flight. And no doubt Rawa and Gloucester Park will be very keen to try and influence the carriers to get a flight over here. Getting out's probably not as difficult.
No, much easier.
And they need a run here. With Andy indicated that he'd want to have a run the week before. Otherwise, he'd probably rule it out anyway. So if he gets here the week before, then he'd probably come. So that's going to make a massive difference. They've taken Catchaway out a lot of the markets now, based on the last week's statement it wasn't coming. So they'll probably have to whack it back in again. And the other interesting one's Never Ending, of course, which is a dilemma. This problem of getting them back over east, you either put them on a float and get them here straight away, or you wait for a flight, and that can be a traumatic experience. You did mention that where he's stabled at, where is he stabled? Shepparton?
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Shepparton. That there might be another horse perhaps coming from the Sanderson camp. And the Sanderson camp, of course, do have a 4-year-old. I tried to do a little bit of research on this, and we need more information. Clearly, that horse might be dangerous.
I don't know what the horse is, but
I'm only guessing myself. But we'll do some more investigations there. If they can, clearly if it's the horse that Sanderson's the logical horse for them, probably a 4-year-old Sanderson for the Nugget. That'll be interesting because I think he's in charge of bringing Never Ending back on that flight.
Yeah, that's the plan.
So that'll be interesting in itself. It might add another ingredient and another classy horse if they can get that flight over.
Yeah, look, it's certainly they've got plenty of great racing coming up with that 4-year-old Golden Nugget, the Retrovision Golden Nugget, with Mr. Smarty really stamping himself the other day. It's going to be a cracking race. So
a lot of depth in that, and very hard to get a start because there's some really
top class.
20 into 12 don't go. There's some really good ones there. Tomorrow we've got, provided they're available, I think we've got Mitch Miller and Madison Brown on the Retrovision Gloucester Park preview. We just had to get confirmation there, but I'm pretty confident that that's the lineup. So it'd be very important interviews with those two tomorrow morning on the Retrovision Gloucester Park replay preview.
Certainly will. We look forward to tomorrow night. Should be a great night. As always, Glenn, appreciate your help.
Not a worry at all. Hopefully Rads is on the mend.
Yes,
get him back in the healthy land of the living.
Yeah, no, look forward to getting him back so he can sit on this side of the table and I can sit on the other side. Would be very much appreciated. As always, a great help from our good man Bray. Had to listen to the podcasts during the week. Great as always. Yeah.
What do we do this week on the Brace?
Had 2 this week.
2 this week.
Two that I caught up with, which we had. Who was it? Dana. Yeah, Dana East and Declan Pauline. So it was a couple of big shows. If you don't listen, get along and have a listen to Centre Square if you like your local footy and they don't take themselves too seriously. Have a bit of fun. But,
for sure.
No, it's a really good listen. Okay, well, that's. I think it's enough from us.
Well, thanks, Mort. It's been great talking to you and look forward to seeing you in the future.
You, and good luck on the weekend. And
try and find a winner.
Yes, hope the punters have plenty of luck listening in from Bomber and Ollie. And until next week, it's bye for now.
Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.